start seated on our mat. Lift the head nice and tall, roll the shoulders back and down. We'll turn the chin down slightly, breathe deeply, letting your belly expand with the inhalation and letting it move back toward your spine with the exhalation. Take your time. Do your best to align your head and shoulders right over your hips. Whoa. All right, so from here, we're gonna just take the right hand and bring it to the left knee. We're gonna inhale and lift the arm up and exhale and put it back behind the body. Inhale up and exhale down to the knee. Inhale up and exhale behind. Inhale up and exhale knee. Again. One more time, just like this, and then let's go ahead and add a rotation. So as we bring that arm up, we're gonna rotate the torso, inhale up, and then we're gonna turn and look behind us. Inhale up, rotate. Inhale up, look behind. Beautiful. And then let's inhale up and then exhale and let that arm relax. We're gonna do the same with the other side. So just left hand on right knee, best posture. Inhale and exhale. We'll do the first several without rotating the shoulders, just warming up that shoulder. And then we'll add the rotation. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and rotate. Last one right here. Beautiful. Let's roll those shoulders back and down. We're gonna bring the hands up and we're just gonna roll the wrists. We'll do that in the other direction. Beautiful. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and put your left hand down. We're gonna inhale and reach the right hand up, and then exhale and bring the arm over. Inhale to up, exhale, arms down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Again. Use the range of motion that's available to you without pain. Make sure that you're watching out for your body today. Let's do one more. And then we'll go right into the other side. The inhale is the reach up, the exhale is the side tip. Inhale up and exhale, arm down. Beautiful. Let's do one more. Excellent. Roll the shoulders back and down, and then we're gonna come up onto all fours. So we'll be on all fours here with the knees right under the hips and the heels of the hands right under the shoulders. We're gonna inhale and let that belly drop into cow. Exhale and stretch the back cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Beautiful. Come to a flat back here, and then we're gonna work on balancing table. So with the heels of the hands right under the shoulders and the knees right under the hips, let's start with an extension of the right leg and try to keep the hips level so we're not lifting up that right hip, but keeping the hips level. And then we'll extend the left arm out here. Beautiful. Just working on the balance here. Push the shoulders away from the ears. Feel the length from the foot through the leg, the hip, across the torso, into the shoulder, the arm, and right to the fingertips. Beautiful. We'll bring the hands down first, and then the leg. Inhale, belly drop cow. Exhale, back stretch, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Coming back to a flat back or a neutral spine, let's go ahead and extend that left leg out, keeping the hips parallel with the floor. Right arm out. And again, reach through the leg, working on this balancing table. Shoulders away from the ears. Breathe. Let's go ahead and put that hand down, and then we'll put the leg down. We're gonna keep the hips right over the knees here, and then just pick up your left hand and reach it under the body. We'll lower ourselves down so that we're on our left shoulder and the left side of our head, and then take the right arm and reach it up here. And not just straight out from the shoulder, but move it back a little bit so the upper arm goes over the ear. Think about taking this armpit and lifting it up toward the ceiling. Keep your deep breaths here. Excellent. We're going to bring ourselves back up onto all fours. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So we'll just pick our right arm up, reach it under the body. Go ahead and set yourself down on your right shoulder and the right side of your head. Left arm stretches out overhead. See if you can move the arm back so it's overhead and lift the armpit toward the ceiling. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and slide that left hand back so that we can come back onto all fours. We're going to tuck the toes under here and lift the hips up, moving back into our heels here. Tip the pelvis forward, pushing the belly toward the thighs. Let your head hang, coming into this downward dog. You might notice that it's an intense stretch for the back of the legs. If you need to bend the knees a little bit and let the heels come up a little bit, go ahead and do that. Again, working in pain-free range of motion, whatever that is for you today. Beautiful. Let's look up toward our hands. We're just going to walk those feet up to the hands and to the front end of the mat. Round to the back and roll up slowly. Go ahead and take your time coming up. Beautiful. And then from this upright position, let's go ahead and rotate a little bit, turning side to side. right, let's go ahead and move into our sun salutation from the front end of the mat, hands in prayer, top of the head lifted up toward the ceiling, mountain pose, soft knees here. Let's inhale, and we're gonna reach the arms up and back, opening front body, keep your shoulders away from your ears, lift chin and chest up toward the ceiling. Exhale and fold in half, bringing your hands to the floor. Bend your knees if you need to. Inhale, step back with your right foot and let the hips come down here, stretch out. Then we're gonna step back with our left foot, pushing ourselves into downward dog. Inhale, bringing the hips forward to our plank. Best posture here, shoulders back and down. Then we'll drop the knees and bend the elbows close to the body, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, lift the head for cobra, shoulders back and down, chest open, legs active so the knees don't touch here. Let's lift the hips for downward dog here. Excellent. Step forward right to our lunge. Step forward left to fold. Inhale, arms up and back. Exhale, mountain. Reach. Fold. Step left, lunge. Step right, downward dog. Plank. Knees, chest and chin. Lift the head, cobra. Lift the hips, downward dog. Step forward left to your lunge. Step forward right to fold. Inhale, arms up and back. Exhale, mountain. Reach. Fold. Step right. Step left. Plank. Knees, chest, and chin. Lift the head, cobra. Open chest, shoulders down. Lift the hips, downward dog. Step forward right to lunge. Step forward left to fold. Inhale, arms up and back. Exhale, mountain. Let's do that one more time. Reach, fold. Step left, lunge. Step right, downward dog. Plank. Knees, chest and chin. Cobra. Lift the hips for downward dog. Step forward left to lunge. Step forward right to fold. Inhale, arms up and back. Exhale to mountain. All right, I think we're ready to get started. We're gonna start with a stork pose. And for the stork pose, we'll just bring the weight, concentration, and balance over to the right side. We're gonna try to keep the hips level here. And we're gonna bring that knee straight out from the hip, working on keeping the hips level and the shoulders down here. Now, if this is working for you and you wanna get a little bit more of a stretch, you can go ahead and hold on to that knee and bring it up toward the chest. We wanna keep the standing leg relatively straight. Don't lock the knee. And again, work on keeping those hips balanced. Top of the head reaching up toward the ceiling, keeping our best posture. If you're struggling with balance, you can always hang on to the wall here. You can just touch the wall with one hand while you're holding this position. Beautiful. We're gonna step back now with that right foot. So as you step that foot back, you're gonna turn it sideways so that the foot faces the long end of the mat. We'll rotate the hips, so that they also are parallel with the long end of the mat. Just make sure that front knee stays on top of the leg. Don't let it start to rotate toward the front here, or rotate inside here. Keep it on top of the leg. Arms wide. We're gonna reach over that left leg as far as we can, and then we're just gonna stack the shoulders coming into our triangle. Now we wanna keep a lifted chest here, so don't come into a position where you're closing that rib cage hip bone window. Make sure this window stays open a little. Working on stacking the shoulders one on top of the other, creating space within the body. Long legs, long torso, long arms. For some of us, this is a balance experience, and so you might feel more comfortable looking down toward the floor, because that sometimes will help you balance. But if it works for you, go ahead and turn your gaze up toward the ceiling. You might notice as you turn the gaze up toward the ceiling, it helps to stack the shoulders. It helps to move that top shoulder back, and it makes it easier to put that top arm up over the shoulder. Now, if you feel like you need some support, you can always take your left hand and rest it on your shin, but make sure your left thigh then is nice and tight so that you're not pushing your knee into a locked position. So soft knee, tight thigh here, especially if you're putting the weight of your body on that leg. Beautiful. And now we're just gonna add a rotation to this. So we're gonna take this right arm and we're gonna reach it down toward the floor. As we do so, we're rotating the shoulders, reaching that hand toward the floor. You'll turn in the back foot. So the back foot's not gonna point to the short end of the mat or the long end of the mat anymore. It's gonna be on an angle. Right hand on the floor, if you have a block or a can of soup or whatever you're using today for a block, you can ease back on this. And then we're gonna take that left hand and bring it up toward the ceiling. So again, even with this revolved triangle, everything is long and extended. Looking to stack the shoulders one on top of the other. Push through the legs. Create space in the torso. Breathe. Let's bring that left hand down toward the floor. We'll soften that left leg and we'll step the right leg up toward it, round it back. Let's roll up slowly and roll the shoulders back and down. So let's work on those on the other side. We'll pick that left leg up, balance on the right leg, coming into that stork pose. So again, if you want to just hold the leg, the knee straight out from the hip, the thigh parallel with the floor, you certainly can do that. If you'd like to intensify, you're going to go ahead and hold that knee and squeeze it in toward your chest. Less posture, breathing deeply, shoulders relaxed away from the ears. I'm going to remind those of you who might be at home standing on carpet, if you have carpet and a carpet pad under it, this becomes really difficult. Beautiful. Let's step that left foot back behind us. So the left foot's going to come behind us, the toe's going to point toward the front end of the mat. Both legs straight, hips rotated to the long end of the mat, arms out. We're gonna reach over that right foot as far as we can, and then we'll stack the arms. Again, create space between the rib cage and the hip bones here. Lift the top of the head away from the hips. Relax the shoulders down. Turn the gaze toward the ceiling if that works for you. And remember, I am only making suggestions of the direction that we are working toward. The ultimate authority here is your body and what it feels like doing with you today. You're going to keep yourself in pain-free range of motion and just move into those great stretches. That nice work. You guys look good. Let's take that left hand and we're gonna bring it down toward the floor here. And again, we're gonna rotate the hips, so we're gonna rotate that back foot also. So that back foot's on an angle, we're pushing forward with the left hip and back with the right hip to square those hips off. And then with the left hand on the floor, or if you need a can of soup to back yourself off, or if you have your yoga block, go ahead and do that. We're gonna bring the right hand up toward the ceiling. And I'm just gonna spin in my spot so that I can keep an eye on you guys. Keep the chest lifted. Turn the gaze toward the ceiling if that works for you. Working through straight legs if you can. Breathe.
We're going to have a tremendous adjustment to our lifestyle.
Beautiful. Let's bring that hand down. We're going to soften that front knee, and we're going to bring the feet a little closer together here. Let's go ahead and bring the toes wide. Feet are a little more than hip distance apart. And then we're going to soften our hips down in between the knees. Bring the elbows against the knees, hands to prayer, and then draw your hands in toward your chest. So the goal here is to do this with the heels on the floor. If that works for you, great. If it doesn't, try to rearrange your feet. They might be too close together or too far apart. You certainly can sit on a stack of books or, I don't know, a couple cans of soup, whatever you've got around there, or your block if you have it. So if you want to modify and put the weight of your hips onto something like that, you can go ahead and do that. Now, after you've gotten here and you're used to the position, try lifting your head up toward the ceiling and think about the space between your hips, gravity pulling those hips to the floor, and the lift of your head. A nice spacious torso. That's where we're keeping our air. That's where we have our rib cage and our lungs. So we have all that space in the torso where we can take in nice deep breaths. Let's bring the hands forward now, and we'll bring our knees down. So we're coming back to all fours, and you'll recall that balancing table that we did at the beginning where we extended right arm, left leg. We're gonna do that, but we're gonna add a half bow to that. So if the balance is too difficult, then you work with the balancing table. And if you can add the half bow, then go ahead and do that. So let's start with an extension of the left leg, keeping the hips balanced, and then an extension of the right arm. Working with balance right here. And again, if you need to stay here, you go ahead. If you want to move further into it here, we're gonna bend that left foot toward the seat, reach around and hold on to it with the right hand. And then we're gonna lift the foot and the hand as high as we can here. Breathe. Let's go ahead and release here. We'll put that left knee down and that right hand down, and then we'll just do the same on the other side. So go ahead and extend through that right leg, hips balanced. Bring the left arm out. Breathe. Working with the balance right here. And then if you're ready, go ahead and reach behind, holding onto the foot. Lift the foot and the hand as high as you can. You got it. Couple more breaths here. Let's release here, bringing the knee down and the hand down. So the warm-up today was a little bit of practice for what we're doing in this part of class. We're also gonna look at thread the needle again. So just pick up your left hand and reach it under the body. Go ahead and set yourself down on your left shoulder and the left side of your head. And then we're working on lifting right arm up toward the ceiling. If you want to, you can come back to what we did in the warm-up, just like this, or you can just reach that right arm up toward the ceiling, trying to lift the shoulder and pull it back. Breathe. Excellent. Let's bring that hand down. We're going to push ourselves up onto all fours, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. So we'll reach right hand under the body, go ahead and drop down here, and then you can bring that hand on the floor, looking under the arm here, or reach the arm up toward the ceiling. Beautiful. We'll bring that hand back down so that we can get our right arm out from under. And then we're gonna go ahead and come onto our sides here. So we're gonna come onto a sideline position. We wanna keep the hips stacked one on top of the other and the shoulders stacked here and the arms overhead. And then you can bring your hand in front here for support or rest it up on your hips. We're gonna float the top leg and then we're gonna bring the bottom leg up and float that too. Just working on balancing on our sides here. be so much work, huh? Let's go ahead and release the legs here. And then we're gonna bring that top arm in front, and we're gonna slide the elbow underneath the shoulder here. Beautiful. Now we're gonna go ahead and relax here. So we're gonna let the body sink down and feel the stretch underneath on the low side of the body. We wanna keep those hips stacked here. If you're getting a nice stretch on that lower side of the body, you can stay right here and just settle into it. If you need to intensify the stretch, you're gonna take that bottom arm and turn it wide here, and you're gonna start to lift up the torso. Make sure that you don't push the shoulder up into the ear. We wanna keep the shoulder down. And we want to keep the hips stacked. Sometimes as we start lifting here, we'll start to sit into it. So don't do that. Go ahead and keep the body active here, the hips stacked, shoulders away from the ears. Nice deep breaths here. Excellent. Let's do those poses on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and swing my legs around and just come around to the other side. If you just want to flip over because you know what's happening, you can go ahead and do that also. So we're starting on a side with a side recline, straightening out the body here, stacking the hips and the shoulders. You can bring that arm in front for stability if you want, or you can rest it on the hip, or you could extend it toward the ceiling. Let's go ahead and float the top leg, and then we're just gonna float the bottom leg just a little here. Reaching through the feet, like we're trying to stand tall here. Breathe, working with that balance. Let's use that top arm to push ourselves up off the mat a little bit. We want the elbow right below the shoulder, and we're going to stack the hips. So a little activation in the tush here to make sure that we're not sitting into it. Tighten up those glutes just a little bit so that those hips stay stacked. And again, if you want to stay right here, this is fine. Letting the body settle down here and getting that lower body stretch. Otherwise, you're going to turn the hand up away from you here and start to straighten the arm. And again, we don't want to sit into this, so tight glutes to keep the hips stacked, shoulder away from the ear. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and soften into this. We'll bring our knees forward and we'll come to a seated position. So as we are sitting here, we're going to bring this to fire log pose. So let's move that left leg out of the way, and we're going to bring the right leg in front of us so that the shin is parallel with the hips. So usually if we sit with our legs crossed, we end up with our feet closer to our hips like this. In fire log, we want to stack the shins one on top of the other. So we need to move our feet out a little bit. So bring that shin parallel with the hips, and then we're gonna take the other leg and bring ankle to knee, and then The other ankle is right below the knee, sitting up nice and tall here. Now for some of you, your hips might really be complaining about this. And if that's the case, you can just go ahead and set that front foot in front of the other foot. And then with best posture, gently push your knees down toward the floor. So if you need a little more support, if you're almost there here, you can get support by putting a pillow or a blanket or a rolled up towel underneath your knee, between your knee and the foot, or maybe underneath this leg to lift it up a little bit and have some support. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. So this time we'll have the left leg on the bottom and we'll bring the right leg on top. Again, sitting up nice and tall, best posture, shoulders back and down. Breathe. Here, and then we're going to go ahead and recline. So we'll bring the soles of the feet together so that we're in cobbler pose here, and then with the soles of the feet together, go ahead and recline onto the floor. You might need to pull your feet up closer than when you get to this position. We're just going to let the knees fall wide and turn the palms of the hands outward, shoulders back and down. Turn your gaze up toward the ceiling. Close your eyes if that works for you. Just letting go of any tension in the hips and letting those knees fall wide. Now again, we're working in this with our yoga, making sure here that we are staying in pain-free range of motion. And as you work with pain-free range of motion, if this pose hurts your hips, then you can tuck blankets or pillows underneath your hips a little bit so that there's some support for those legs, so you can back off the stretch a little bit. Breathe deeply. All right, we're gonna move that position to the opposite, stretching the hips in the other direction. So we're gonna gather the knees up together and then walk the feet wide. So we'll bring the feet to the outer edges of the mat or maybe a little further. Make sure that you can still rest your inner thighs against each other in this position. And stretch around through the hips here with this one. And again, close your eyes. Let your body relax in the stretch. Beautiful. Turn your knees both up toward the ceiling. Extend your left leg out onto your mat. Bring your right knee toward your chest and just squeeze that right knee into the chest. Deep breaths here, keeping the right leg on the right side of the body. Beautiful. Let's release the leg and extend it out, bringing the left knee over the chest. And again, squeezing that leg into the body. Nice deep breaths here. Let's go ahead and release here, extending the leg out. We're going to let the toes fall wide and turn the palms of the hands up toward the ceiling. Relax here. If your shoulders are rolled forward, go ahead and lift your upper back up. Let the shoulders drop down and set your back down here. Let yourself relax and soften. Breathe deeply. For those of you who sometimes get impatient with the relaxation, meditation part of yoga, I want to remind you how important it is. As we do our yoga poses, we loosen the tensions and toxins that are caught in our muscles and within our bodies. And as we relax, that's when the tensions and toxins finally leave our bodies. So this part of class is essential. This part of class makes it yoga. It makes that makes the body fully release those tensions and toxins. So breathe deeply. Let any tension in your body go. Relax the legs and the arms. Relax the torso. Relax the head and neck and face. Today's meditation is a poem by Donna Falds called Let It Go. Let go of the ways you thought your life would unfold, a holding of plans or dreams or expectations. Let it all go. Save your strength to swim with the tide. The choice to fight what is here before you now will only result in struggle, fear, and desperate attempts to flee from the very energy you long for. Let go. Let it all go and flow with the grace that washes through your days, whether you received it gently or with all your quills raised to defend against invaders. Take this on faith. The mind may never find the explanations that it seeks, but you will move forward nonetheless. Let go, and the wave's crest will carry you to unknown shores beyond your wildest dreams or destinations. Let it all go, and find the place of rest and peace and certain transformation. not, just stay gently. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers and toes. Give your body a full body stretch if you need it. When you're ready, gather your knees up toward your chest and roll to your right side, laying on your side for just a few moments. Beautiful. And then again, whenever you're ready, go ahead and push yourself up to a seated position. Please take the time here to thank your body. I thank you for spending some time with me today. Namaste.